Howdy hey, I'm Hipio Tech. Oh wait, I'm not Hipio. Hey guys, Merkibs here. Oh wait. Welcome to another Walt Knows Tech video, and today we're gonna talk about keyboards. In the past few years since the pandemic started, I got into the world of mechanical keyboards, from a non-hot swap mechanical keyboard to a Keychron hot swap mechanical keyboard. I tried to modify that Keychron K4 V2 to make it look and sound better, and while it did look and sound better, I thought I needed something more premium and stands out from the rest of the regular keyboards. And after watching lots and lots of keyboard videos on YouTube, I stumbled upon this. The QK100, a CNC aluminum custom keyboard from Curdy Keys, maker of affordable but high quality custom keyboards. Starting with the unboxing experience, the QK100 comes with a separate accessory box containing a keycap puller, a metal switch remover, a hex screwdriver, and a coiled USB-C to A cable. Into the brown keyboard carrying case, it has a complete set of Aolab V2 screw-in stabilizers and some stabilizer pads. And on the top half of the case, we have an instruction card to check for defects and how to install the switches correctly, the 2.4 GHz wireless dongle, the silicone gaskets and keyboard feet, and some extra cables in case the pre-installed ones do not work, which is pretty nice of them to include. Then we have the plate, which comes in 4 options: polycarbonate, POM, aluminum, FR4, and carbon fiber. I went with the polycarbonate plate to aim for a deep, thocky sound profile. And now we have the main PCB with plate foam and PE sheet. Now here's my QK100 PCB, and you'll see a hole near the top right area, but we'll talk about that later. The QK100 has multiple options for the PCB, such as flex cut or non-flex cut, wired or tri-mode, ISO or ANSI layouts, and an option for a solder non-hot swap board. Onto the keyboard case. This is a CNC aluminum case with more customization options like 12 colors from 2 types of finishes: anodized aluminum and E-coated aluminum. A case foam is also included here, and now you should be able to see what makes this keyboard unique: an LCD screen with an RGB light strip on top, which I will show more on later. I went for the black anodized aluminum case with an anodized gold internal aluminum weight and a matching anodized gold external weight, which has 11 other options that differ in color, design pattern, and finish. Not to mention that the internal weight has a camping themed laser carving and the external weight has a mountain shape engraving. Pretty unique, I must say. For the building part, I started with the stabilizers where I used Krytox 205 grade 0 for the housings and Krytox BDZ for the wires. After that, I assembled the stabilizers and proceeded to cut some parts of the PE sheet so the stabilizers sit flush on the PCB, and put on the stabilizer pads one by one. And after that, the stabilizers can now be installed with some screws. Now I added the plate foam, and once it is lined up perfectly, I can put on the polycarbonate plate on top. I wanted to test out the stabilizers first, so I put on the switches of choice for this board: the Gateron Queen tactile switches. As for the keycaps, I'll use the Key Kobo white on black with accent colors I got from Novel Keys, and put them on the stabilizers. I'll be including a keyboard sound test once the entire build is done, so stick around. The QK100 has dual mounting options, a gasket mount and a top mount option, but for this build, I'll be using the silicone jacket gaskets. Now if you look closer, the silicone jacket has 2 sides to it, one with a small bump and one with a longer bump. This basically dictates how cushioned the keyboard will feel, but for my build, I'll be using the smaller bump for a softer, more dampened feel. At this point, the build is nearly done and the stabilizers sound excellent, so I installed the rest of the switches. Onto the aluminum case, I installed the silicone feet first so the case doesn't scrape on the surface I put it on. Then I started removing the screws to open it up. Now putting on the PCB, I first threaded the ribbon cable for the LCD screen through the hole and connected it to the PCB. Then I connected the JST connector to the PCB, which will connect the main board to the hidden dollar board and lithium-ion batteries under the internal weight on the bottom case. Once that's done, I align the case foam under the PCB and put back the bottom case and screw it back in. Then for the home stretch, I put on the rest of the keycaps. And for the moment of truth, I powered on the keyboard by flipping a switch found right beside the caps lock, and we are greeted with the QK startup animation. At this point, I'm just researching the keyboard shortcuts, especially for changing the screen modes where I can cycle from the main info screen showing the date, time, battery percentage, and connection type to a matrix style screen and the 3 GIF pages where you can customize via QK software. I can also change the lighting style of the RGB strip above the screen and even adjust its brightness. And it's finally complete, my very first custom keyboard. At first I thought it would take me the whole night to complete the build, but thanks to watching lots of keyboard builds on YouTube, I was able to complete mine in roughly 3 hours. I also give mad props to QWERTY Keys for their online build guide, which is very detailed and quite easy to follow to say the least. Not to mention how it translates to putting on the actual keyboard parts, especially for a beginner to the hobby like me. As for my review of the QK100, starting with the hardware, I'm impressed with the quality QWERTY Keys has put into this keyboard. The anodized finish looks and feels nice to the touch, and I don't see any signs of quality control issues here. The side profile is nice and simple with a few layers and a subtle curve at the bottom, and I can easily lift the board with very little effort. The back is just as beautiful as the front, and the big external weight with the mountain engraving creates character for this budget custom keyboard. As for my gasket mount configuration, it's very comfortable, and I can notice the gaskets at work when I push down hard on the keys. For the sound, I'm pleased with how deep of a sound profile I made given the switches and keycaps I chose. I'll be putting the sound test at the end of the video so I don't talk over it, and you get to see some of the important bits of this keyboard. This is a versatile keyboard after all, and I can go for, let's say, a clockier profile with no foams installed and going for the top mount option. Now on to the selling point of the QK100, the screen. Seriously, I can't get enough of this screen, and while I get to save up to 3 GIFs, I wish I could save more. It's fun seeing something on the screen as I type, and in a way, express the unique personality of this keyboard. On the things they can improve, I only have 2 minor nitpicks. One is that this board isn't VIA compatible. While I do understand that QK's proprietary software includes the GIF management tool, it will have been better if users can also do the regular key customization in VIA. The second and last nitpick of mine is the wireless switch found beside the caps lock. I am aware that the keyboard automatically sleeps after a couple of minutes of inactivity, but it would have been better if QK would have implemented a more accessible way of shutting down the wireless capability of the board to somewhere like right beside the USB-C port at the back. Overall, the QK100 is an extremely compelling keyboard with a numpad from QWERTY Keys. The build quality is excellent, the sound profile is versatile, and the customizable screen easily makes this board stand out. It is unfortunate that this is a group buy keyboard, meaning you can only order this keyboard during the group buy period. But from time to time, manufacturers can make extras but with limited quantity of orders and at a set time frame. Thank you for watching my review on the QK100. I will be posting links in the description, including Zion Studios Philippines where I got my QK100 and where you can buy other cool custom keyboards. Zion Studios also hosted the biggest mechanical keyboard meetup in the world fairly recently, and I'm very happy to have attended this event where I saw lots of keyboards and other related stuff. I'll also put the links below for the other parts I've used on my QK100 build, and as I promised, here are the raw sound tests.